This is Do By Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge, warm up.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Hey,
brother.
That's the second time this week that I was inattentive at the time a podcast begins. I got a new print here that I'm excited about, Alex. And I don't usually...
All right, then I'm going to interrupt you and say, I don't think you were inattentive. I think you just weren't attending to your computer and you were excited about something else. And I want to hear about your print.
Well, you know, whatever I'm about to do, well, oh gosh, I almost said something horrible. I almost said whatever I'm about to do is the most important thing. No. Whatever I'm doing right now should be the most important thing. But anyway, I don't tell you about it. I was distracted because, you know, those I've been getting into shipping containers and container ships. I watched a video about it and now I'm fascinated by it. And so like you see those big, you know, container ships, right? Where they got all the containers on top.
Yes.
Yeah. Maersk.
I didn't know that you had ever left this phase, actually.
Why would you say something like that?
Because I want to know the developments of...
Hope to shout. I'd love to talk about that. I'm going to send you yesterday's rec diffs for real. I think because you like to get them early, right?
I do.
Like
I didn't get the last one early. No,
because you don't always need them.
That's true.
I mean, would you listen to it if I sent it to you?
Yes, I feel special, and then I listen to them early.
That's good. Well, that's good. It really helps people discover the show.
Exactly.
We did a thing, you know, I never know what when Syracuse like writes down two nouns, I never really know what it's going to mean. I just always assume that I'm going to be, you know, laid bare and forced to be submit myself to some kind of, you know, a punishment for decisions I've made. But we talked about goals and accomplishments. And I thought it was going to be something where I'm like going to be made to feel bad about myself. But it ended up being about kind of adjacent to Roderick on the Line and Roderick trying to record this record and just talking about like what's the difference between like a goal and an accomplishment and how does it affect you. And one of the things I said, and the reason this occurred to me was like, well, like I said, I don't know if you heard me on Mondays, Roderick, right?
I did. Don't make me more vulnerable. What? No, don't. Yes.
Well,
yes,
no, like how I was saying,
very good.
If I talk to another curious like fellow traveler, I have no problem at all describing what I did with clarity and with as a story. Even I can tell you like how I spent my day. If I talk to people who are just mad about work and politics, I don't have anything to tell them that's going to please them. Because it really does sound like I'm deranged or something. And because I'm not like, oh, my boss, right? And like, oh my God, my boss. What's going on? Oh no, the scooter's beeping. Zoom won't hear that. But I ended up at Maersk Containers. And I thought about buying one because I saw in the video, this guy had a really nice little container on his desk. It looked professional. And I looked into it and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to break my rule and I'm going to do a 3D print of a thing that's just a box. Stop beeping. Can you hear that?
Hey, buddy. Yes, I can.
Brother.
Hello. Hey.
Yeah. So anyway, I made this. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, and I kind of don't care. But the beauty is they figured out, because you know how they used to load ships? Like you ever think of like an old movie or even Game of Thrones, but like something where you just see those big cranes and it's a bunch of stevedores with hooks. But like whatever they had to ship, it's like, okay, we got here's 4 chairs for a pizza parlor in New York. Okay.
Mamma mia.
Put them on a pallet and lower it in. Okay, here's 60 cans of coffee. Okay, put it on a pallet and lower it in. And that's what they would do. And what had finally arrived at was these 20 and 40-foot standardized containers that locked together when you put them on top of each other. And it revolutionized a lot of things, for better or for worse. But I made one. I'm putting my lid on for the first time right now.
You're kind of a spiritual stevedore, really, because...
Oh, title.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, sorry. Okay, I'm moving my shipping container
Stevie.
away.
Oh, Stevie.
Because then you go and you pack your own. You know what I'm saying? And as long as it meets the parameters. See, this is the kind of thing people get mad about, though, because then they say, well, that's taking jobs, or that's like, taking the otherwise very honorable business of loading and unloading a boat. They went from 6 days to 1 day the very first time they tried it. 100 containers on a ship, and now they do like over 20,000 on a ship.
That was a
Container
big
video. Okay, I'll find that.
I do want to see because I think I was wrong. I thought of shipping videos
forecast.
specifically.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was
Yes.
trying to be, I guess I was unintentionally trying to be clever. Put it on my, whatever holds my ashes. He was unintentionally trying to be clever, but very intentionally failing. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching, shipping containers on container ships. You understand? But no, I love ship videos. Oh boy, I'd love to curate ship videos for people. I like the ones where they make 3D like reenactments and show you like where the magazine is and like where the ropes go. What was your funny title?
You
had a funny
Spiritual Stevedore.
Thank you. Oh man,
I was talking
sounds like
to
a garbage pail kid. He's a cleric. He's a cleric with a hook.
I've
He's a
decided
healing
to ask
factor.
you. You mentioned
Yes.
yesterday. Nope. This is not. This is a
I'm
Wednesday.
listening. No. Oh, jeez. You're mad at yourself.
Sorry. I am. I'm mad at myself.
It's okay. Because the
wait,
problem is
after
the days
show.
change. The days change like every day.
Show. Oh, brother, don't I know it? You mentioned on Roderick that you feel like you're the guy who's like, you don't really care because we all make, God, it was such a good line. You're like, we all make ceramics now.
We're all
which is-
ceramicists now. And the
Yes,
joke on
we're
that
all-
is that Roderick has been present when I would meet somebody, usually in San Francisco, who did the San Francisco thing. And this jive. It's like, I don't know, it's like monkeys smelling each other's fingers or something. It's like, and like trying to find out how much money you make. And, when you're around a bunch of content creators and people who want to give you their card, I got in the habit of telling everybody I met who was clearly not a person that I wanted to spend a lot of time with. Sometimes you can tell, I would tell them I'm a ceramicist.
We need something new now.
Why's that?
Though. Because I
don't think that's well known.
I don't think it's well
something more
known.
plausible. Like,
It's
okay.
Here's the thing.
You could say you're a DoorDash driver.
That's typically what I say, but
That's really
then
interesting. Actually,
yes.
you should see the conversation I had with a guy the other night. I made a friend. You know what? Write this down. TRIQ. Right, that's one word. Please write that down. Tariq and then the word Tampa. Please write that down. I'll tell you in the after show. Give us your fucking money.com. It helps support the show.
Please do, so I don't DoorDash anymore.
That's a real website.
I know it's a
You
good
gotta tell
one.
people.
But
Be sure to use our offer code.
I one time said, fairly, not recently, but maybe last year, said, I'm a ceramicist. I'm like, oh, so what's your primary platform? I'm like, what? And they said, so how many followers did you have? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Tell me do
no.
e-ceramics.
Yeah, I was, because they thought I was a pottery influencer. I'm like, I don't like that.
God,
I don't
Alex,
like that
you.
at all.
Jesus, you're killing it this week. Pottery influencer.
That's not funny. That's a real thing. It's
Hey guys, don't get vaccinated.
It's
Japanese peace sign.
God.
But I see what you're saying. But do you feel like I say that to try and be amusing, but honestly, it's just something where I've always been. I don't know. There's times where it's nice where you feel like you're on the way up in life and you want to brag to people and stuff like that. And I've done that. I mean, I've social climbed. I practically stalked Jason Kotke for 2 years. Like I've been a real weirdo about wanting to move up amongst the people whose opinion matters to me. But well, no, I'm trying to get to I think what I think your point is. But don't you sometimes try to do a read on somebody for practical reasons of like, because it's just you say like not joking. This is true. Like every time I would get in a lift or every time I would sit down and Judy give me a haircut, Judy would say busy, and I'd always be like, a lot. Eventually, I just got to where I say, yeah, it's crazy right now. How about you? Because that's what you're supposed to say. Instead of saying, I've spent the last 20 years of my life deliberately trying to position myself that I'm only busy when it's somebody else's error. If I'm busy and it's my fault, bad on me. But like I want to be out of the business of having other people decide how busy I should be. which is admittedly a privileged and kind of snooty thing to say. But that's why sometimes, honestly, like depending on the situation, like back in the day before I lived in California, I would usually just say I do stuff with computers, right? Because then if somebody is like, oh, like, what do you do? Like, and you can talk about that, and that's great. But instead of just trying to find out what school you can afford for your kid. Because I think that's what a lot of that is. And it's just, I don't know if that happens there, but like, it used to really feel, on the one hand, it was about what we now think of as a Silicon Valley bro-y thing before it was quite so toxic. But there was always that thing of like, yeah, I work at Netscape or whatever. It's like, whoa, that's a really big deal. I mean, when I moved here, like I was in my rented car in Mountain View. The first night I was there, I got pho for the first time. Was very freaked out by all of the intestine in it. I nearly backed up the disposal in my temporary housing with all the stomach. And I can tell you the exact date it was. And you know how I know? I can't tell you the date, but I can tell you what date it was. It was the night that the Curb Your Enthusiasm pilot aired on HBO. And I didn't understand what it was. Yeah, the original him and Jeff, Larry's going to do a show thing. And I was like, this isn't very Seinfeld. And certainly wasn't as good as the show that followed it because it didn't really know exactly what it was yet. That was the night. And I had tummy in my disposal. I got in my car, I got pho, and I drove to Netscape. I just wanted to go see where it was. Like, it was just so epic. But then at a certain point, there's a second kind of way of doing that. There's the bro-y part or the like, what neighborhood do you live in kind of stuff. But then there also became what now you would call an influencer like stuff, where I would go do a talk at a WordPress conference. Or I remember one time I went to this social media circle jerk here in town one time that was just so dispiriting. And in that case, you're constantly running into people who want to give you a card that they've had printed at Kinko's that says thought leader or whatever.
Oh, what if I got that? And we're all leaders of our own thoughts. Oh, I bet I could get a fireside chat for that one. That seems like something that happens a lot.
If you're trying to, like, it's one thing, like, this is more subtle than it sounds because I'm trying to be funny, right? I've always been trying to be funny. It says that on my ashes. Cremains. I learned from, oh my God, did you watch the last episode of Nathan?
No, I've been told the best episode of TV.
Okay. Well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say that, but I am ready to say this motherfucker. I'd love to talk about it once you've seen it, but the point was you do have to get. It's not just trying to be like a jerk about it, but like sometimes, like you don't want to. You meet people sometimes and they want to dive into what their bid is. It's one of those. It's something I used to run into a lot, and certainly one of the things that finally led me to be such a pill about accepting meetings with people out of nowhere, where it'd be like, hey, let's talk. And at first I was like, oh yeah, sure, let's talk. And you sit down with somebody at a coffee place and they're just, they're basically like, what's his name? Mr. Fat Cat, they're basically like, in the Chris Fleming, the cable company guy with the arms on the old Yeller plan. You can sit up there like a kitty cat. But, just douchebag idiots. And you're like, fuck, I've just wasted like half a day. Everything takes half a day. If you have to leave your house, you need to basically allow half a day. I would lose half a day to go have coffee. And this is the second thing they'd say to me. The first thing they'd say to me is some horse shit about, all the great shows. And the second thing they would say is something like, let me tell you a little bit about myself.
Oh! I just had such a visceral reaction to that.
But have you ever had no? But like at a convention,
yes.
Or
yes.
Have you ever had people who like unbidden? It really is like something out of Silicon Valley. It's like the guys who worked for Gavin who steal the algorithm. It's like those kind of guys.
What's worse is let me tell you a little about let me tell you about what we do.
Yeah, let me tell you what we're up to. And it's like, I have to say, and this is very much the Cincinnati, Ohioan in me maybe, but like I kind of, if I ever said that, I probably have. But the idea of me personally saying those words to another person unironically makes me very uncomfortable in a completely authentic, sincere way. I think that's a weird way to begin talking to somebody because it sounds like you're giving your elevator pitch, But so you got to gauge, like, well, okay, like, do you want to be pals, or do you mostly, a lot of times people just want to like brag, and you listen and you say things like, wow, that's a lot of money, over and over. But
this might be a Midwest thing, because I have had meetings with people who are like, okay, so this is why you should give me money. And I'm like, yes, all right, go forth. And when I had the power to say, yes, hey boss, give this person money.
Martha had the power.
Well, that's the thing. If
that's not your Martha mode. Martha mode is your more like calling customer support person, right?
Yeah, no, Martha mode would be if that person was like, let me tell you a little bit about our company. That's when Martha would call. But then
Martha would go, let me stop you there. Let me explain how this call is going to go. In 90 seconds, we're going to be off the phone, and you're going to fix something for me. Now, I'm going to tell you what that thing is, and then I'll wait 80 seconds and hang up. I'm Martha. Hello. Martha mode.
I thought maybe, like, do I have any regrets about having a Martha mode? And then I'm like, no, because Martha also, there was the empathy of being like, my boss, what a bitch.
I know.
Oh, man.
Know. Right.
And I'm like, listen, this is, I was ahead. Listen,
bosses, am I right?
I had a bespoke agent before they were automated, okay? I just did the work by hand.
It's called dissociation, and there's pills for it. I'm Martha. Alex, they're gone. I know. Alex knows. Hate it.
Oh, boy. I had a real question about Roderick on the line.
Okay. I think, let me make sure we got that, because I think.
Do you have any?
No, I just one more. So anyway, all I was trying to say was, though, because like in the example I'm going to give, so like basically, I ordered a bird feeder through Instacart. And, I felt guilty, because, like, you remember that term I've been trying to socialize, the hero item? Like,
yes.
Sometimes I do an Instacart order because all we really super need is ice. But, like, A, you got to buy a certain amount. And B, like, I feel like kind of a chode, because if that one thing I want isn't there, I've just made it's just weird and it's not efficient. So I'll say things like, okay, I'll add on some stuff to the hero item. Just write this down. I'll add on stuff to the hero item that we always need anyway, like seltzer or dairy, like half and half, something like that. And in this instance, it was from Target. I ordered a Bird Buddy, which we should talk about at some point. Bird Buddy. And I've learned not to respond to a lot of text, because I think it makes them think I'm a talker and they need to send me photos and stuff.
Yes.
So I tend to not because I want to be rude, but in this case, I just thought, oh God, what did I order? I ordered a bird feeder. This man's going to drive to Target, buy me a bird feeder, and bring it to my house. Can I tell the story?
Yes. I feel like I now have enough. Yes. Yeah, please do.
No. Say what you're saying.
No, because I've been in this situation
we can come back to the other thing.
Where you, like, you don't want a customer to, or that's the thing, you're not supposed to call them customers, you're supposed to call them clients. And we're not employees, we're...
Dashiers.
We're dashers.
Dashier.
And then...
Like a sommelier.
Yes, and you prefer it when no one responds, but you need, in order to...
I try so hard to not be annoying. I try so fucking hard, I swear.
No one...
I always say it's okay to just leave it at the door. Not because I'm antisocial, but because I bet they would love to just know that as soon as they get here, they run up the steps, they drop it off, take a very weird photo, and I do collect all of them, and then run off, right? Doesn't that feel like a lower pressure thing than like, I want to come down and talk to you about your selections or whatever? Sometimes
there are algorithmic incentives if you can prove that you have made a God, it's so upsetting, a connection with the dasher and the customer.
So does it help when I say stuff like, this kid's the best, give him a raise, that kind of stuff? Does it help to say
not
that?
at all. No, doesn't.
Because I've been told by Instacart. Remember, for years I would always give five. This is what soured me on the 5-star review. Is I would always give.
5 stars? Yes. Feedback? No. Feedback.
But
it's just.
Here's what I discovered: was I thought I was helping, and I would always give 5 stars, and where I thought it was appropriate, I would say something nice, and I kept getting these every time I did that. They'd go. I get an auto response from shopping at instacart.com or whatever. And it goes, oh, thank you we're so glad to know that you had the best possible experience with our person. We don't actively, what was the phrase that I read? I've read it so many times. We don't actively monitor comments and reviews from blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And eventually I was like, well, okay, so are you telling me that I should stop doing this? Because it sounds like you feel like I'm a nuisance. I don't like doing it. But I've been doing it because I heard it helps. The 5-star reviews help. Is that right? And the other stuff is all just blah, blah. Does it matter what buttons like? Well, you're in DoorDash, so I'm talking about Instacart here. But what are the kinds of things that affect you?
I've done all to see what have... now I've stopped so I can talk about this without getting in trouble, I think.
You stopped what?
Doing DoorDash.
Oh, okay. For now, you're not doing it for now. Yeah.
No. And the Chicago, if you've noticed, some things have changed when it comes to the laws, and I'm really proud of that. I'll put that in show notes. Anyway.
About what, Alex? You just said something very general. You said something in Chicago changed with the laws that I might know about. What are you talking about?
No, you wouldn't know about it.
Okay.
It's less. You can't.
Save it for the show.
Okay.
Why would we talk about it?
You know what? No, I was just really. You were always like, why are you doing? You're like, Alex, you're not that poor. Why are you doing DoorDash
that's not what I said.
and all that?
That's not all what I
that's
said.
not what you said. No,
that's not what I
that's
said.
not what you
what
said.
I said is, do you really think, given the way you are and the human being, since we're making things up, I'll tell you the best way I could have put it. Given who you are and how you are, is this really the most effective medium-term solution for what it is you're trying to solve?
The answer at the time was yes.
Absolutely. Okay, no problem. Got it.
Woo! But the reason you get we do not monitor this is, and I think it is, I don't know if DoorDash sends it, but Instacart and Uber Eats or whatever everything is called now, and says we don't look at this, is so you can't get mad and say, well, I contacted customer
I was so
service.
angry and you never followed up. Yeah,
because
right. I imagine there's tons of CYA. I imagine that's why they send me photos of empty shelves that I can't zoom in on. God, I want to tell Instacart in particular. I'm not talking about I understand. I feel like I can at least guess, based on the best intentions of the shopper and the dumbest intentions of the shoppees, is that they do that for a form of CYA. Which is like somebody's going to get mad, and maybe that lemon lime LaCroix was their hero item. And they'll say like, oh, they didn't offer to replace it. They didn't even send me a photo of the empty shelf to prove they tried, is how I feel.
Mm-hmm. And that gets...
That's complicated.
And it
is.
Right.
It is. If you because it's costly to do this stuff. You expect it to be okay. And honestly, the people who are still doing Instacart, and I get a lot of the same folks over and over. I know 3, 4, 5 by name, and always, say hi, and I have, I think, a reputation for being a good tipper. I hope. Well, I'm not going to say numbers, but I have a floor.
Oh no, there's people. There's people who wait to see when your OPSEC is destroyed, because you are known as one of the good ones. Basically, no. Oh. You never want to deliver in a rich neighborhood for obvious reasons that I think anyone in the Midwest knows.
Do they have chuds or something?
Yeah, no one tips, and everyone, they're not 5-star people. And
they're not 5-star people.
They're not 5-star. It's yeah.
Who's Margaret Dumont now?
If you spend a day doing exclusively an upper, not even upper, really upper middle,
but the kind of things where you have to go through a guard thing or buzz into somewhere, that kind of stuff. I can't imagine doing this in New York. Oh my goodness.
I can't. Neither can I. That's why there are mostly bike people. What it sounds
Yeah, we
like.
get bike people. We get bike people.
I love a good, but it made them sound like they're people who turned into bikes, which is kind of.
It sounds
cool.
like an Australian movie from the early 70s. The people who turned into bikes or something. It's a rich genre.
Hitchcock could never. But whenever there's like a good
I didn't
suburban-
say that actors are bicycles. I said that they should be treated like bicycles. I didn't say she was the town bicycle. I just said that everyone has ridden her. Oh, Alfred Hitchcock, you're such a caution.
Oh, that's not how he laughed. I don't know.
It'd be awesome if his laugh was like, hee 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 hee. Wouldn't that be cute? I'm trying to find this. So, okay, just to finish this one dumb thing. So, okay, this is something I posted on the internet. I'm just sending it to you because it's good for context. And actually is also context for bird things. I'm sending you, I'm clicking. I'll see if this works. Oh, look at that. I think it worked. Okay, so I ordered a bird feeder and I forget what else. I mean, of course, I had cleared the limit or the lower end for an order because, I mean, it's an bird feeder. But I just felt like, God, I'm such a weirdo. I just asked somebody to go to Target to buy me a bird feeder. And like most of the time, I just don't even think about it. They don't care, right? But like, can you see can you see this text?
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, so basically I texted this guy and I said, thanks. I know
Here we go.
I said, thanks. I know it's a weird order. And he said, hey, Merlin, not weird at all. And thank you for being my first San Francisco client. I'm from Florida. And then I responded and said, ha, I'm from near Tampa. And then my personal shopper said, I'm literally from Tampa. And then I made some references to Tampa things and said that I was from Newport Richey and so forth. And we had a nice visit. And we talked more after this. And as I saw him arriving, unlike some people who've hosted this show in the past, I go out and I'm ready when the lift arrives or the Waymo or the person. In this case, I went down to greet him, like all the way down. This show's not popular, so I can say the truth. I walk down here. I see a guy carrying a Target bag. He's one of the most gorgeous young men that I have seen in years. He's probably a 25-year-old black guy who looks like he's going not to a costume party, but I actually said to the guy, I hope I used this right. I said, man, look at your fit. I said, you look fucking great. He had a hat. He had cool shoes. He looked like, I bet he owns a zoot suit. This guy was so cool. And he was really, really, really nice. And I was like, hey, I greeted him. I said, hey, neighbor, I'm in Tampa and we're talking and blah, blah, blah. And we agreed to touch phones and swap information. It was really nice. And we texted a little after. But one of the fun things was we tapped phones and the thing came up and then he gave me this hilarious look. I bet he does this with everybody because I've considered doing this with everybody. I've considered for years doing that thing of like, oh, did you post that one thing on Facebook? And they go, yeah. And you go like, oh my God, that was great. It could have been a case of that, but he sees my little icon pop up and he gives me what looks like a very sincere, like, what? Look. And I'm like, oh, that's just my dumb, image thing. He goes, I've seen this before. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, maybe on Twitter like a long time ago or something like that. So I don't know if it was bullshit or not. I love this guy. I can't say enough nice things about him. And it all started in this case with this little text exchange about Tampa, Florida, and what it's like to try and achieve escape velocity from Florida and how it's hard to be a person there. But anyway, and then we texted a little bit after that. But I don't want to give people the wrong impression. In this case, with this guy, then I did text him later. It's like, thanks for thinking I'm not a creep. I just wanted to say hi and thanks.
It was such a good story.
That's the part where every man of every age. Every man of every age eventually wrecks it. Starting at the age of 11 until death, a man should never say, I don't want to seem creepy here, but could you go get a refill of the baby oil?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Isn't that a sweet story though?
That is incredibly sweet.
I wish I got a photo. I'm going to send you his contact photo. He's really attractive.
Let's say we were the McElboys. Who would be like, oh my God, you monster. You thought your DoorDash driver, or whatever, your Instaboy was...
I bet David Sims. David Sims probably wouldn't like it. I'm guessing.
Is that from...
Blank check.
I mixed up them and Flophouse, which I think is a compliment.
Also it's difficult because there's so many people that are named Griffin or should be named Griffin.
Exactly.
Because a griffin is a type, and I'm the griffin type on the shows that I'm on. Yeah.
Yes. Whenever someone here's something that would get in trouble. When I hear a trans man say a name, when I'm like, nah, dude, should have gone with Griffin, should have gone with Dave, should have just like, if you wanted something cool, should have gone with Griffin or Jack. Like, oh man, shouldn't have gone with Skylar.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Do you think that has to do with the medical conditions in their hands that you were telling me about? Why are you trying to tell me some story about how you can diagnose trans people because of their arthritis or something? Weren't you telling me a week or two ago about some paper?
Oh, yes. That was from the Slate Star. Well, now Astral Star.
Or like
Codex
the thing science
guy.
doesn't know. Like, right. Or like, why can't women feel pain? The kinds of questions that there's still things we don't know. A lot of research to be done.
Why are women such pussies? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And like, so buy this pink yogurt and help them out.
What
I sent you a picture of my
done,
guy. Isn't he handsome?
Oh, he's hot. Oh, see. Okay, yes.
Now imagine that guy wearing imagine that guy wearing like a red hat. Like like a hat with a band. Like he looked sharp. He looked like somebody in a Spike Lee movie. He looked sharp.
Oh, absolutely.
Good shoes. Yeah.
But what you do is exactly what gig economies don't want is you continue to humanize for good or bad. Just humanize.
That's funny, but I don't.
It's not. No, it's not funny.
Well, it's a funny headline. I get it. Yeah, but like,
it's not a headline. Yes, actively, if you go in to, if you are in the dasher or driver thing,
why do you have to make it sad all the time?
It's not sad. No. It's not sad because people are actively like, this is weird. Like you saying, this is weird. Why do I have to have this person sending me pictures of everything? And it's like, okay, why am I not supposed to talk to my driver?
Yeah.
And with the exception, this is
the thing is, I don't know how much y'all know about what it's like. It's sort of like something we've talked about here. I've talked about in lots of places lately, which is like, I think the people, like an example that I've given before that is probably unkind, but I don't think people who make Apple TV use Apple TV as much as I do. Like, I wonder if the people who like set policies, like for example, I have a note in my Instacart thing, like in that field that says any special instructions. And for years it said refunds are fine on anything, blah, 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 please leave by the front door. What I had not learned until somebody told me about it is that the shopper doesn't see that until after the shopping is complete. Correct. Now that might seem like, as Jenny Nicholson would say, that might be a skills issue on my part, but honestly, I don't think that's clear. And I think the problem with that is that you're setting an expectation that's something people, to me anyway, you're setting an expectation that's something people will see that will endure. We're like, because there's just a lot of times where it's like, I'm so grateful for the service. I'm very happy to tip. Like it saves me. It saves my life. Like having to go out yesterday and like pick up my medicine and like get a Waymo. It was like, I'm so glad somebody can do this other stuff for me and I can pay them something for it. But it's, I'm not sure what my point is. It's sometimes I just want to be left alone. Like I really like it. I like it. There's a code phrase I started using. It's really bad. Guys from the neighborhood. I like it when guys from the neighborhood are my shoppers sometimes because they don't want to have a big conversation. I think, for one thing, the Spanish translations seem a lot hardier than the Mandarin and Cantonese translations. But a lot of my shoppers that I get, I see that the messages are translated, which I think is very smart. But like the guys from the neighborhood title tend to be a little more taciturn. Not mean, but they're not big talkers. And I like that. Like, they either have the thing or they don't have the thing. You can't replace 2 sets of number 2 coffee filters with 1 set of number 4 coffee filters. I understand in a 3rd grade arithmetic way that makes sense, but those are different things. But a lot of people who are still around, they're all diamond shoppers. They've been doing it for a while. Doesn't that guy seem nice?
What I find fascinating is he said, thank you for being my first San Francisco client, because I can only speak from Chicago stuff and the various stories from other folks. And the biggest data set, unfortunately, is via Reddit at this point.
Oh, that seems like a really good fit, actually.
It is. Yeah. It's but it seems so different in other cities, and it's also sometimes, I don't know if you've gone and like used an app in a different, like I
remember the first time I ever got Grubhub or whatever somewhere that wasn't San Francisco. It's like the first time you take a Lyft or an Uber somewhere that's not San Francisco. It really is like suburban dads. And it's, you know what I mean? Or like, that's not bad, but like it's different. And like the drivers in like Rhode Island, one time we did Grubhub because the family was coming over and we just wanted to get fish tacos or something. And yeah, it was way more earthy than the folks we get here who are really buzzy, like zoom, get in, get out. Like,
Before the Seattle kind of got big for its convention center stuff, the Tacoma to Seattle drive, the airport to Seattle drive, those were something, man.
Because it's a long trip?
It's a long trip, and they want to talk, which is
right,
which is odd, because I'm like, wait, this isn't Midwest. You used to get, some Chicago talkers back in the day, but it was like, oh man. And the same is true in New York, where no one talks to each other on the apps. But when you are delivering in a neighborhood,
it's such a different specific vibe in New York, right?
And that's how
the way you don't like look at each other on the subway and stuff like that.
Yes, I love it. Only thing better about New York than Chicago. It's wonderful. No one talks to each other. Everyone everyone walks really fast. I love it. I would move to New York.
You guys got Kanye too, Rock and Roll McDonald's.
We don't claim him. We don't claim him. No.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but
no,
she ain't
we don't
dealing
claim
with
him.
Broke fella.
We don't claim him.
Give me money. You know I'm a closet fan, right?
I too am
a huge
dear
closet
fan.
Just 2 or 3 records, but 2 or 3 of his albums are very precious.
Okay, but here's what's here.
I was kidding. Sorry. No, move on. I was briefly covering your dumb remark about the only thing better. The only way New York is better than Chicago is that. I love Chicago. That's my favorite big city.
Yeah, I think you've been here
at least twice. Yeah, I bought a Rickenbacker there in 1989 and visited my friend Todd in Highland Park. And then that one time when I stayed across the street from the
Wait, Todd?
No.
Oh,
No. I don't think they allow him out of California.
I don't think so.
He wouldn't thrive in that environment.
Yeah. He needs a certain climate.
Well, he needs to be somewhere where
he
needs to either be in California or constantly building a house. Exactly. It's the Winchester Mystery, Todd. Title.
I'm writing it down.
And if one of you fucking people gives me the turns out about Winchester Mystery House, I will be very cross with you. I'll be very cross with you. There's a turns out about the Winchester Mystery House, and people love telling you about it. Okay, so Tariq is his name. He's very cool. So wait, and then what we're talking about, Todd and Chicago and being different and getting back to.
Again, the social mores. Mores. We're done. We're good. We talk about it.
Let me see. INSTAC. A long time ago, sounds like I'm starting a song. I started capturing the delivery photos that I guess people have to take. And just some of them are really funny. Like some of them are just like, a lot of them are just like a whip pan. Like all you see is the blur effect of like, oh, that looks like a house. But yeah, and here's one that's just the guy's passenger seat, I guess to like prove that he was on my street. Some of these are really good. For obvious reasons, I'm unlikely to share these, but some of them are very creepy. Here's one. I love this one. Look how moody this one is. Your groceries have arrived. Ooh, there's that one. There's some more.
I like this one a little bit.
I have concerns about your privacy. Your garage door is open. Ooh, it's the witching hour. I know these night deliveries. That's just good photos. Those are from my Instacart house delivery photos folder on iCloud.
This is, you know what sucks too? Usually you can't see the photo that you've taken afterwards. So you have no idea what unhinged thing you've sent to
Right.
the person
And
you
is there a thing
delivered.
now? It seems like I usually get a photo of the bag when they pick it up. Is that a thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that
That
optional?
might be new.
Do they counsel you on what your little messages should be? I
No.
bet it's bigger with Instacart. But anyway, let's talk about something else. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about. Hey, everybody.
Hey, this is Due by Friday. And I found my bell.
Friday. We had so you've been watching my birds. That is germane to the show because it was a challenge recently. So we've got my bird feeder that you are now a friend of. You're now a friend of the feeder. A friend of the feed.
That's good.
You love RSS.
Good. I love it so
What's the
much.
other
I love
thing I
303
wrote
redirects. I love it all so much.
Oh, nice. Oh, I got bases working and figured it out, and I have a thought about that. That might be good after show.
Bases? Wait.
Obsidian.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Here's my one bullet on it. Very cool. I hope you like YAML. You're going to have to do a lot of depending on how you use this, using Obsidian with bases, it's very cool. It's all about the query language. Really, it's just a bunch of pages, but then you have a query language, filters and properties. That's pretty cool. If you wanted to have all your baseball cards in one folder, just get with using YAML because it's really all about the YAML. The YAML is mostly what you filter on. Does that sound completely insane? Will people know what I'm talking about? Obsidian is a text editor that syncs and does things and is becoming very powerful through these plugins. And there's a new one called Bases that Max told me about that lets you basically turn any of your documents or all of your documents for that matter into a table. It's way beyond data view, at least in terms of these queries and stuff. It's got a very detailed query language. So if you want a way to if you are already either through automation or, God forbid, manually putting lots of metadata in your documents, it's really cool. You could use this for, what's the old example? Recipes. You could use this for books. You could use this for whatever. But boy, it's a lot of YAML.
It is, but if you have already done this,
if you've already done that, absolutely.
Notion, no. If you've done something similar in Notion, then the transfer is fairly easy. And then you realize, instead of using these weird Notion labels that get lost
every record,
in the
a record is
shuffle.
a page or a document, at least. It's much more exposed, I imagine, than Notion, right?
Yeah.
Notion's a little more flabby in the middle where you're like, okay, here's a table of things, sort of like you can do. It's more like data view in Notion, probably, right?
You know what? I don't know how you use data view because data
view is just a cool plugin that's been around for a while. It's really powerful. It's one of those things like choosing what's it called, how if you choose the minimal template, you get a lot of cool stuff that's built into that. You know what I mean? It's almost like a little platform inside the platform, that one theme. It allows you to do a lot. Well, I mean, it's different from other, I think it's minimal, but it's different from other themes in that there's already a bunch of rich stuff that it works with. But data views like that, all you do is you just do the triple ticks and probably data view, I think. I haven't done it in a while. But with the nascent metadata in your documents or whatever, data view it basically lets you do something like this, but just in terms of presenting tabular information. It's not as robust as Bases, I don't think.
So I am
Data view, you can say, show me all my documents that match this and this, and present that inside of this other document.
Yeah, I was thinking of the pretty globy thing that isn't that useful. Graph view, that's what it's called. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's one of those things. There's probably a term for this, but I don't mean this. This sounds more disparagingly than I mean it, but it really feels like something that's made for screenshots.
Yes,
you're like,
absolutely.
And you move around and it moves, and it's like, ooh, that's exciting. In the future, that's how we're going to navigate all of our files.
Ooh,
you jack into the matrix. So I had birds. I got a new raven. This is a bird feeder. But we're far enough in now. We should probably talk about the challenge.
Challenge.
What do you want to talk about, Alex? It's your show.
No.
I'm going to pull up the birds on my iPad just to see if anything's going on.
I have turned on what are they called? Priority
Oh, yeah,
notifications for your
notifications.
birds, because
I still, like I said in our text, I think it's better at some things. But the neat thing about the bird feeder, just why would you get a bird feeder? Well, first, it's cool because it's got a camera built into it. It's really well made. It's the company, if you're going to make a premium bird feeder for nerds, this seems real good. I'm very happy with like how it works, and then you can share your feed with people like selectively. Like I don't think I have it on publicly. I didn't mean to if I did, but you can invite people to your bird feeder. And so I invited you to my bird feeder. That's we won't talk about it in the after show. But isn't it kind of delightful to just see those little guys and to hear it? I love hearing it.
oh my god, the little house finch. I don't know if this is from before, but
love
the house finch is back. Oh,
when you see a house finch in silhouette and it's just going,
yeah.
and it looks around a little bit. It looks around and then it goes. Now you get some of them pigeons in there, some of those bigger boys. They really root through there like they're angry. They eat like Conan O'Brien. They eat angry. And they throw out all the stuff they don't want. Like, meh, meh. This isn't a sunflower seed. Meh, meh.
Oh,
But I had a crow in my yard, so that was exciting.
Oh, we don't get crows. We don't.
Not crows. I did it again. God damn it. A raven.
Wait, did you get a raven?
Yeah, no, look at that photo. We talked about this on Roderick. And look at the photo I posted, though. It's fucking exquisite. You see the beak on this thing. I'll find it for you.
You parroted, haha, my theory that if the corvids and
yeah.
listen, the octopuses.
To get with the octopuses. Do you know how smart the octopuses are?
We're so.
Do you have any
done.
idea? I know.
We're so
well,
done.
have you ever seen the squid or the
AGI?
octopus like getting off the boat? Have you ever seen that insane video of that? What? It's so upsetting.
I have literally
But
had
like,
nightmares
I've seen
about
videos.
it.
I've seen videos of I don't know if it's octopuses or squids. This is not loading. I'm gonna turn this off. But of them like learning how to open jars and stuff.
Yep.
It's wild.
Yep. There's a whole behind the scenes in Finding Nemo 2 about how they studied videos of various octopuses and octopi are correct. Shut up. Not you, Merlin.
Okay.
That they were like, oh, we're not making this dexterous enough. It is less, we need to make this less realistic because otherwise it's just too upsetting.
I totally get that. I sent you the one, I sent you the Attenborough one with the mollusks. I sent you that one. Mm-hmm, Did you watch that one to the end?
No,
out of curiosity.
no.
Okay, that's one I think you should watch because it does get better over it. But this one also, this is a really good one. This is a Nat Geo Octopus Social Life. I just sent you is a really good one too.
Ooh,
yeah, with their dead doll eyes.
Oh, I love them. Oh wait, I gotta open the chat. Give us your fucking money.com.
Hello,
please. I have uncovered a new Speaking of the McElboys, they could fucking never with the haunted doll stuff. I don't know if they're still on this, but the haunted doll worlds. Oh, I'll save it for the after show.
You mean like the Etsy stuff Justin would find, that kind of thing?
No, above and beyond, dude.
Okay.
Like partially Etsy.
I love when he would read the disclaimers. About
yes.
That's one of my favorite parts is people really upselling the spook of it and don't put her in a yellow chair because that's what she was killed in or whatever, just all that kind of
the
weird
trigger
lore.
warnings of
but I also love just the whole I have to warn you, this is a deeply haunted doll, and you're like, oh, they're really selling it, they really want you to, they haunted the shit out of that doll.
It makes. I tried to find if they were still doing it, and I'm like, maybe they got too. They just flew too close to the haunted sun because there's a whole haunted doll. I'm doing Trump hands right now.
You got a hand drawn maze. Oh, are you doing accordion? Accordion hands?
Beautiful, yeah. The beautiful dolls, very haunted.
Looking into these dolls very strongly. Deport the dolls. Pedro Pascal, very struggling actor. The failing Pedro Pascal wants to protect the dolls. Deport the dolls.
Oh boy!
I saw an article was it in the New York Times? Yeah, it was
Did it
New
have
York
a
Times.
headline? I was just asking. I want to know the headline. I was just asking.
All right,
Just
asking the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rogan. But it was a funny article that I mainly I went to show you as kind of a lark. It was about warm-ups that people do, and one of the first ones was the actor Jeff Daniels, and I read it aloud last week. I thought his warm-up was funny. So it was the general challenge this week is to warm up, and you take that anywhere you want. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yes, I think I totally not almond buttered, but did I
you
thought
think
it was
about it? You can also think about it. That's what I do a lot. Often I like to think about it.
I read the article like when you sent it to me, and then I forgot what the challenge was, and then
I had to look literally last night.
Oh, and so I thought last week, why can't I?
I always think there's no way I'll forget this. There's no way that it will be a week before I realize that there's no way. And inevitably, invariably, and now my thing I do now that's so pathetic, I'm trying to remember to start putting what the next week's challenge is into notes when I remember to. But also that's partly for me because I know I'm going to have to look it up. Isn't that sad?
That's okay.
Because I don't want to open a spreadsheet on my phone. I'm not a monster.
And then, no, yeah. I think by now we know who the monster is. I put it in this little app called One Thing, which shows in your menu bar. It just has
One Thing. That really sounds like your kind of app.
It's one thing.
I wish I had that. I wish I had that on Apple TV. I wish there was just like a kind of thing I could say, always put this somewhere where when I click it, this happens.
Exactly.
Like almost a little bit like, the ambient music thing on iPhone that's actually just a playlist. I wish I could just have a way. And actually on my phone, one of those might be one of my warm-up things, which is a playlist.
Oh.
But you see peanut butter. Tell me more. Tell me more about your experience.
I don't think
Are you a warming up person,
butter.
Alex? Do you warm up? Do you limber up? Do you do back bends or anything?
Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, but that's only part of. So, here is my typical last week warm up, or what is basically my routine.
Warm up for what?
The day.
For what?
For the
warm up
day.
for the day. I love this. Okay, good. Thank you.
But,
yes.
Okay. I get up. I gobble my meds. I gobble a stimulant. Get in the shower. Get out of the shower as quickly as possible. Binder, clothes, lotion, hair goop.
Binder, lotion, hair gel goop.
Binder, lotion.
Is it Velcro or is it just like a tube top? I'm not allowed to see, so I don't really. I know they exist, but I'm not allowed to ever see them.
Well, that's the thing. That's why binder is different than the clothes. It's like a different. I didn't realize even when I was writing. Binder. I barely even knew her. I will put my binder in one of my binders in the show notes. Wait, what's wrong?
A fresh one or one you're wearing now?
Binder? No.
Is this gonna be like your feet? I don't want it. I don't want to see. Okay.
No. It's. Oh my god!
If you would like a personal copy of Alex's binder, you go to.
It's ew.
Give us your phone. No. Like after you've been playing pickleball.
No, ew. That's fun. No one will play pickleball with me because no one does it in Chicago. It's just it is really fun. No one does it in.
I saw they have pickleball clothes now.
Chicago.
It's really a ride. There's you can get a pickleball skirt.
Yes,
which sounds like very disparaging. Oh man, you don't want to go out with her. She's one pickleball skirt. Tennis gash.
It's also
this is my tennis gash, and I love her.
Ew. I shouldn't say ew. That's not nice.
Well, that's how some people self-identify. Like those West Village girls. Well, sometimes you get to be a tennis gash.
No. No. All right. And
so your day is warming. So is that okay? That's a form.
So
part of that's the ritual. It's part of that the ritual.
Part of that's a ritual, and that needs to go really fast. Like when I get out of the shower for obvious dysphoria. Well, I guess
no.
Not
We talked about showers before. Showers are a place of realization for many people.
And then Well, but so then the reason like binder, clothes, and lotion are so fast
Binder,
is
clothes, and
because
lotion. That should be a song.
I put lotion on my face because it has SPF, and I'm told that SPF is good for my face.
I heard we
That's
don't
all
even
I
get
do.
the good SPF. I heard you got to go to other countries to get the good SPF.
I know.
I heard Robert F. Kennedy says nobody actually needs SPF anymore, unless you're already very, very, very pale and sick. Only sickly boys will get the SPF. If you're not, that's mean. Why am I doing that? Because I hate him.
I don't
That's
think
like
it's
that's like the ninth weirdest thing about him.
I was going to
There's
say
so many more weird things about him. It's just
can't
that really
even-
caps it off, you know.
Poor Cheryl Hines. I know someone like she's complacent. I'm like, what would I do?
Yeah,
I would just
I
sit
mean,
back. I
There's
don't know
a point
what I
where
would
Stockholm syndrome kind of turns a corner, and it's like,
Honest-
well, bad on you. You could have gotten out a long time ago. You know where the keys are.
Well, that's what I keep thinking. Is this is bad for the show?
No, it is bad for the show, but no, but this. I don't like to gossip idly about people, but we're talking about something potentially kind of different, and to talk about that your favorite Kanye West. I mean, or whomever, or I guess Diddy, but especially like you know, you're like, well, when was the day that Kim decided she just couldn't do it anymore? Because like,
Oh, yeah.
as
I
from
think
the
about
outside,
that
you look
all
at it and
the
you're
time.
like he made you like walk around in a gimp mask, and you seemed pretty into it, and
Yeah.
like you know he's got a lot going on, right? And then one day you go, okay, well I guess like that's enough. And if you're Mrs. Macron, you push your husband in the face. You see that?
No,
Really-
wait.
Oh my God!
Wait.
The camera footage captures Emmanuel Macron's wife like fully like putting her hand on his face and violently pushing him away as they walk out of a plane. He says they were horsing around, and I think that's not true because otherwise he would say they're chevaliering around. No, chevaling. How would you say? How do you say chevaling?
Well, exactly. I know what chevalier.
That's such a dumb joke. I told that joke
Chevalier.
twice last night and no one laughed. It's not funny chevaling around.
It's
I know a word in another
close.
language.
Did you have a Kanye moment? I had a Kanye moment.
Tell me. Well, you know,
it
my kid used and will again work at the Exploratorium, and he's a big donator there. So he came in with that weird wifey girlfriend of his, the lady who was naked a lot and who wears
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, and they come to the Exploratorium.
I hope they enjoy it.
I do too.
I hope it's normal.
Yes, I do too.
I hope that man has something.
The reason I say
normal.
ritual, because the more I thought about this, and my approach to this was thinking about things like things I very much have thought of as, you know, famous warm-ups that people do for things. I was thinking about my favorite episode of The Honeymooners, which would take a long time to describe. My favorite episode of The Honeymooners, which I'm sure I've mentioned on this show many times, is where, you know, like Jackie Gleason is going to be on Name That Tune, and Ed Norton is going to help him prepare. And Ed Norton, played by Art Carney, is this amazing piano player, but he has this weird tick where, and do you know that Name That Tune? I can name that tune in 8 notes, 7 notes, 6 notes. Somebody plays you a melody, like, you know, usually 1 to 8 notes of a melody, and you have to say what the melody is, what song that's from, right? So Art Carney's walking through this, and he's gotten really. There's only one problem, which is Art Carney's a very, very Ed Norton on the show is a really good piano player, but he has this weird tick where, for some reason, before he plays any song, he has to play the beginning of a song by Stephen Foster that we've all heard. So every time let's say he's going to be playing a different Stephen Foster. He's going to play Ralph, the first few notes of Beautiful Dreamer, and see if he can guess it. But before he can play Beautiful Dreamer, he has to go ba 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 da 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 ba ba dum ba dum bum bum, and then starts playing the regular song. And it drives Ralph crazy that Norton can't play any song without this compulsive warm up of playing the Stephen Foster song before he plays it. And it's very, very funny. It's used a great comic effect. And spoiler alert, he gets to the very end, and the song that he has to name, they say, name that tune. Ba, 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 ba. He doesn't know the name of the song that Ed had been playing over and over and over. And it's extremely, and he goes, hamana, 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 like he does. I think sometimes that ritual, sometimes it can be compulsion. Other times it can be comfort. But like alongside ritual, you've also got like not exactly superstition. But if you think about warm-ups for performing, I think we're a lot more tolerant of superstition there, right? Like watch anybody's at bat who's a professional baseball player. They have so many different ticks. You get stuff like the rally beards, you get all that kind of superstition stuff. But like, doesn't that feel like a part of it, the ritual and superstition adjacent part of like, even at times when I'm adrift and I'm concerned and maybe I'm distracted by anxiety or stage fright, right? That like, if I do my preparation and I do my warm-ups, like even if I'm traveling and I'm in a different city every night, like I can bring myself back to where I need to be to go out, you know, and get the Celine needs to perform tonight pills and go out. What is that? Well, no. What am I thinking of? Mariah needs to. I need the Mariah needs to sing tonight pills. That's what Elaine Bennis says when she's sick. She says to the doctor, "I need the Mariah has to sing tonight pills." But like, don't you think
remember that as Celine? Oh no,
no, I'm confusing it with a very funny Graham Norton segment recently. But isn't that part of it? Like, because. And I guess it's the warming up of the voice stuff and the mouth stuff, but a lot of it really seems to be a form of repeatable, meditative, sometimes slightly compulsive centering, self-soothing about repeating something ritualistic that locates you, you know, here, like where I am right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I tried, in fact, to go back and think about various little rituals I had before going on stage in the past. And a lot of them I couldn't remember, but I know that I had them and I know that I shared them with other people. And I like reached out and like, I don't know, sometimes we bumped fists, like,
But like an improv, isn't there like an improv thing? Like, I guess it depends.
Everyone's got their own thing.
Where you've got to like, what's the funny thing you and Max told me? Or the thing you say like, you're the funniest person in the world, or I trust you, or aren't there things you do before improv in some circles?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, a high five-y, like get the energy up kind of chanting thing?
Yeah.
Or the Eagles singing Seven Bridges Road, you know, backstage.
Yes. And if ever, if it works for you, good for you. But yeah,
in that case, it's locating you as part of you are part of this team. So every one of us, right? It's not, it doesn't seem very cool, but in the same way as like a high school football team might, break and like, do the big handshake thing that men do.
The only reason I go, when it comes to the comedy stuff is because it has become a ritual that does not necessarily. Yeah, it's an empty. You can tell. Like you can tell when it's like a Herald team. Like, yay, break.
I don't really trust you or Harold, whoever Harold is. We're never married.
My thing, because I didn't. A lot of times you can't see the people on stage. Is I used to do what I now realize is kind of a form of box breathing, is I would inhale and exhale around the sides of the stage. And it's like, yes, that is where I will be. Like, that's where I am standing or sitting. And that became my thing of like, oh yeah, it's just the stage. Or I would like count the lights, and that's like really the only thing I can remember because it was related to
and that's sort of like I don't know what it's called, but I think this is a thing. You remember? Wait, shit! You haven't seen it. Did you see? You did not see Better Call Saul, right?
No, I saw most of it.
But like, do you remember when Michael McKean is having his his brother has that like agoraphobia and like all the OCD-ish stuff, and remember when he has to go to the grocery store by himself and he does that thing where he's like, the lights are here and the floor is green. Like, what is that? Because it feels like a real thing. It feels like a grounding thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where you like, you allowed, so I think, I'm going to look this up, but where you say aloud like observations about your surroundings. Like the blanket is folded on the chair, the eggs are overpriced. I don't know, whatever. The things, but like to ground yourself in like, I am here right now and this is happening and I'm alive and it's okay.
I think in general they are just called grounding exercises. And quickly
Okay.
though, we've talked a long time ago on the show. We talked about my weird things with sevens and compulsive behaviors.
Oh, and like
that-
you've got to kiss Maddie 7 times
yeah,
before you leave.
and that's has gotten better and isn't as
when you say
much
better,
of a
you
thing.
mean you feel less bad if you forgot it or something?
It's rarely do I have to do that. It's much so. Yeah, by better I mean I don't think anyone's going to die if I.
But I think it's valuable that you're saying it, and I think it's valuable that you're putting it that way, because the point of compulsions or warm ups or whatever you want to call it, like these kinds of things that we do. I mean, part of the point of that is. I don't know if this is true, but I always heard that I've heard 2 different versions of this. But when they crush a glass or a light bulb these days at a wedding, a Jewish wedding, that like I've heard some people say that that's about fertility and like breaking the hymen, but I've also heard people say I personally like this one, which is no, the very first thing that happened after we got married is a glass broke, and that's good luck. Like rain on your wedding day type situation, like that you're causing. It's sort of like me saying the first page is profound on the first page of every
that's what
notebook.
I heard, but I like the.
Did you think of that's crushing the light bulb, right? I still do it. I showed it to my kid, and he was not impressed.
You break the. It's like, we control the bad things in. We have control over our destiny. Is what I am wondering. Wait, did they just tell that to all the kids? It wasn't like, man.
I think no matter what happens on your wedding day, there will be somebody there to tell you that it's good luck. We're like, oh no, school shooting, that's good luck. That means you're going to have a strong masculine child if there was a school shooting today. Or people just come up. What?
I mean, on everyone, maybe not. Well, no, not on everyone's wedding day, but a lot of weddings days, like hymen are involved. So
hymen,
hi.
Because you got it. This is what happens at hi. Is this your first time at CGI hymens? We do things a little different here. Would you like me to crack your creme brulee? If you know what I mean. Do you want me to crack it? Hi. All right. That's the name of that tune.
Good.